Mr. Speaker, I beg to present for second reading a bill shortly entitled CARICOM Arrest Warrant Treaty. Mr. Speaker, this bill is to give effect to the CARICOM Arrest Warrant Treaty. The treaty was signed on the 6th day of July 2017. According to the Caribbean community, the objectives of the treaty under Article 2 is to establish within the Caribbean community a system of arrest and surrender of requested persons for the purposes of conducting in respect of those persons a criminal prosecution for an applicable offense or executing a custodial sentence or greater punishment where the requested persons have fled from justice after being convicted or sentenced for an applicable offense. Mr. Speaker, the system of surrender of persons on the basis of a CARICOM arrest warrant will reduce the delays and high costs associated with extradition. 9 member states have signed this treaty and 5 member states have ratified. The treaty has been in force since the 7th day of June 2019. This was an acknowledgement of the need to enhance security in the CARICOM region for the further deepening of regional integration. According to Article 3 of the treaty applies to all offenses except a political offense if it does not involve death or violence against a person or an offense under military law, which is not also an offense under criminal law. Article 4 to 12 of the treaty provide for the grounds for issuance of CARICOM arrest warrants, judicial and central authorities, and particularly relating to the CARICOM arrest warrant, transmission of a CARICOM arrest warrant, arrest and detention, surrender procedure, surrender decision, effects of the surrender, and the grounds for refusal to execute arrest warrants from CARICOM. The model bill was approved by the CARICOM Legal Affairs Committee and is now the responsibility of each member state, including St. Lucia, to enact the model bill in its parliament. Therefore, this bill is basically the bill that was approved by the CARICOM Legal Affairs Committee. In the bill, minister is defined as the Minister for National Security under Clause 2 in the bill. Mr. Speaker, Part 1 of the bill, CARICOM arrest warrant, makes provision for an issuing judicial authority under Clause 7 of the bill, the grounds for issuance of a CARICOM arrest warrant under Clause 8 of the bill, and the central authority under Clause 9 of the bill. Clauses 10, 11, and 12 of the bill provide for the expenses of administering the bill, the executing judicial authority, and the power to arrest and surrender. The form of a CARICOM arrest warrant is provided for under Clause 13 of the bill, and the transmission of a CARICOM arrest warrant is provided under Clause 14 of the bill. Provisions are made under Clauses 15, 16, and 17 of the bill for the authentication of a document arrest and detention and the jurisdiction of a magistrate. A requested person may consent to being surrendered to an issuing participating member under Clause 18 of the bill. In Clause 9, 20, and 29 of the bill, provisions are made for a CARICOM arrest warrant relating to more than one offense, the surrender procedure, and the surrender decision. The rule of speciality, deduction of period of detention, and grounds for mandatory non-execution of the CARICOM arrest warrant are provided for under Clauses 22 and 23 of the bill, and 24 of the bill. The grounds for optional non-execution of a CARICOM arrest warrant, proportionally and multiple CARICOM arrest warrants, and provided for under Clauses 25, 26, and 27 of the bill. Mr. Speaker, provisions are made under Clauses 28, 29, and 30 of the bill for CARICOM arrest warrants and requests for extradition, transit, and surrender of a person by an issuing participating member to another participating member another participating member. Clauses 31, 32, and 33 of the bill make provision for the surrender of a person by an issuing participating member to a third state, searches for the purposes of a CARICOM arrest warrant and handing over of property. The CARICOM arrest warrant and request for extradition, bilateral arrangement between participating members and double jeopardy are provided for under clauses 44, 45, and 46 of the bill. Part 2 of the bill, miscellaneous, provides under clauses 38 and 39 and 40 of the bill for the making of regulations by the Attorney General, a negative resolution for subsidiary legislation, and amendment of the schedules. Mr. Speaker, please note that the CARICOM Arrest Warrant Act Cap 19.28 is repealed under Clause 31 of the bill. Clause 42 of the bill provides savings and transitional provisions. Mr. Speaker, this is another effort of the government to deal with the crime situation in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, and generally in CARICOM as a whole, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, the crime pandemic seems to be a CARICOM problem. Heads of government have debated. In fact, there have been at least 2 conferences held on the issue of crime, the issue of crime in the region, Mr. Speaker. In fact, some people, or in fact, crime as a health issue, crime as a public health issue, Mr. Speaker, the situation has been described as a public health issue, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, there is no single policy or single policy that will cause any instant change to the crime situation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, every CARICOM country suffers from this pandemic. What is needed, Mr. Speaker, is a holistic approach and a whole of society approach. And in terms of this bill, is a whole of CARICOM approach, Mr. Speaker. Because the entire CARICOM region, they are deciding that when a crime is committed in one country, arrest can be issued in that country, and the person can be sent to his country where the crime originated for processes to go through, Mr. Speaker. Before, there had to be extradition and a whole thing surrounding extradition, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I really hope, Mr. Speaker, that we as politicians understand that we are playing with fire when we try, Mr. Speaker, to gain political mileage with the crime when there's an increase in crime, Mr. Speaker, or when there is a spike in crime, in criminal activity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, criminals have no friends. Criminals are selfish. Criminals will destroy a country or destroy anything they can, Mr. Speaker, to satisfy them. So those of us who believe that when we play games, and try to sensationalize crime, Mr. Speaker, when we attack the Commissioner of Police for no reason, Mr. Speaker, you cannot tell me, Mr. Speaker, that the Commissioner of Police can be attacked openly, Mr. Speaker, for absolutely no reason but for a perception. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask a question. Do you think that any right-thinking police officer, commissioner of police, or any right-thinking politician, or any right-thinking prime minister, past or present, or wannabe, you think that person would like to take over a country with a pandemic of crime, Mr. Speaker? Something's got to be wrong with you, Mr. Speaker, when you believe that people enjoy, that people will enjoy, that I would enjoy as minister, and I will do nothing and let the crime spiral, Mr. Speaker, because I enjoy it. Mr. Speaker, something would have to be wrong with you, Mr. Speaker. But, you know, we are selfish, Mr. Speaker, and we believe, Mr. Speaker, in some people with their selfish motives believe that once they can touch the emotions of people, Mr. Speaker, because the fact, people are emotional about crime. People are anxious about crime. People are emotional. And if you prick that emotional button with help from abroad, you may get some level of success because you are pushing an emotion, Mr. Speaker. So what do? We have to stop this business of pretending that crime began in 2026. We have to stop it, Mr. Speaker. In 2021 and 2025. Because you appear, you believe that, Mr. Speaker, the member for Central Castries made a very good point. And it's a point which is not a point because one murder is too much. I've been on record as saying one murder is too much, Mr. Speaker. But between 2016 and 2017 was the highest crime of murders in this country. You think I will blame somebody for that? Do you think I will blame somebody for that? Or blame the Prime Minister at the time for that? Or do you think I'll have programs and programs and programs trying to imply that the Prime Minister was responsible? No, we're not doing that. What we do, Mr. Speaker, is we look for gaps in the system that we can fill. The CARICOM arrest warrant treaty, Mr. Speaker, was ratified from 2019. It was ratified, the treaty was signed in 2017, but the bill wasn't passed in the Parliament. We saw that, we're trying to fill that gap. The gang legislation, Mr. Speaker, the Attorney General is working on the gang legislation to tighten up, Mr. Speaker, to tighten up these selfish people who say they are gang leaders, Mr. Speaker. The Firearms Act, tighten it up. The Money Laundering Act, tighten it up, Mr. Speaker. The Domestic Violence Act, tighten it up. That's what we're doing. We're looking for gaps in the system. We're looking to strengthen the system so that we can take these criminals to task, Mr. Speaker. So what we ask for, Mr. Speaker, is for us to find common ground. And I'm making that plea again, Mr. Speaker, because, you know, if we have to make an argument and discuss or argue and have a conversation, Mr. Speaker, on this whole crime situation, Mr. Speaker, we'll clearly find the gaps. We'll find the gaps, Mr. Speaker. So we mustn't be sanctimonious about it and pretend that the government is happy when there's crime. Why would the government be happy? Why? What gain do we have by a country where the murder rate is increasing? What gain do we have, Mr. Speaker? We've gone as far as bringing the regional security system when things were hard. We had the courage to do it. We had the courage to pass the Escalated Crime Areas Act. We were criticized. We had the courage to do it. We weren't afraid. We faced it. We faced the criminality with these laws. Mr. Speaker, and we talk about resources. Mr. Speaker, we speak about judge alone trials, Mr. Speaker. That law has been passed a long time ago in St. Lucia. It was passed in this Parliament a long time ago. The judge alone trials. That law is passed there, right there. What you put together is the infrastructure. If you look at every budget, you see there's a swift justice vote in every budget, Mr. Speaker, to hasten trials. But the issue that, Mr. Speaker, is difficult for the judiciary to get judges and other court personnel. That's not my fault. So the backlog of cases, Mr. Speaker, we have It's difficult to find magistrates, difficult to find judges to deal in criminal cases. We put direct, and if you look at the estimates of expenditure, you'll see money in there for swift justice program, Mr. Speaker. With the problem in court buildings, you heard courts were closing, no courts, no building for courts, Mr. Speaker. After COVID, court, we began to use during COVID, and immediately after COVID, we began to have virtual courts, Mr. Speaker. We've invested millions of dollars in trying to make the court system more digital friendly. Millions of dollars, Mr. Speaker. Then the government took a position that we would build a house of justice to have all, because some trials, there must be a face-to-face trial. Some people believe that let the accuser face the accused, Mr. Speaker. Criticize for the house of justice all figures bandied around the place, Mr. Speaker, and you speak about backlog of cases, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, how many times? And the saddest thing, Mr. Speaker, the saddest thing is when the government takes a position or when a policy is enacted, instead of the opposition supporting the policy in a serious way, not in writing a letter, in a serious way, Mr. Speaker. Instead of doing that, they wait for it to fail and for hoping that it fails, and they fall back on it, Mr. Speaker. Look at the unfortunate situation with the K9, Mr. Speaker. You mean to tell me the opposition can support and make a point that the government or people in the government are responsible for the untimely death of the K9? You think that's right? You think that's a right thing to do? I mean, put all politics aside. So you think somebody will vote for you because you say somebody in the government was responsible for the death of the K9, Mr. Speaker? And we disbanded the K9. Mr. Speaker, we never disbanded any K9. We never disbanded means you cast it aside. We did not. We did not, Mr. Speaker. And I'm very happy to tell you that we believe that our friends who understand what we are doing, very soon we will get another K9 to add to the K9 that we have now, Mr. Speaker. Very soon that may happen, Mr. Speaker, with the help of our friends. Mr. Speaker, the Commissioner of Police, he came to the public and he had a complete crime strategy. He called it his crime prevention strategy. It was made public. So when you hear about what the government is doing about crime, it was made public to be discussed. The commissioner was in the public domain. He was on radio. He was on television discussing the crime prevention strategy, Mr. Speaker. And with adding to that crime prevention strategy, Mr. Speaker, the government increased the resources for the police force to help that strategy as envisaged by the commissioner, Mr. Speaker. But you would believe, listen to the opposition, you believe that nothing is done, nothing. Nothing was done, nothing, Mr. Speaker. And we ask that solutions to crime, Mr. Speaker. A crime command center. A crime command center is men sitting down in a room. What we've done is we've done a gang, drugs, and narcotics unit. We've taken qualified people who understand the street crime. We put them in one unit, gangs, drugs, and narcotics. In fact, the Commissioner of Police did that, Mr. Speaker, because, Mr. Speaker, I am taking no responsibility for the operational matters of the Royal and Lucia Police Force. No matter how they criticize me, my job is policy direction. My job is to benchmark them, benchmark the police. My job is to get advice from the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Speaker. But don't believe you can gain things politically if you try, as you said before, that every murder in this country I'm responsible. Mr. Speaker, that will not get us anywhere. Because if, God forbid, Mr. Speaker, and the opposition wins the election, God forbid, God forbid, Mr. Speaker, the situation will continue the same way it spiked by nearly 100% between 2016 and 2017. So not, Mr. Speaker, so you're shocked, Mr. Speaker, because, you know, if you want to have a serious discussion, let's sit down and discuss serious things. Let's discuss why there seems to be a pandemic of crime between our young men, starting from as early an age as 13 or 14 in gangs. Let's sit and discuss that. Let's sit and discuss it. Let's sit and discuss what would cause a young man to take a gun, leave his home, and go to somebody he went to school with, and put a gun by his head and shoot it and fire it. That's what you have to discuss. Let's discuss the crime prevention strategies that we have started. Let's give advice to the Minister of Crime Prevention, Mr. Speaker, who was ridiculed when he was appointed, ridiculed. Whereas people across the world were congratulating the government for having a former policeman, somebody who understood the whole issues as this around crime, as a minister. We were criticized and ridiculed, Mr. Speaker, and then we placed sanctimonious at one point, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there are laws and regulations that we must meet. Every new police officer is polygraphed. Every recruit is polygraphed. There are some recruits who were not allowed to continue their training because they were not successful at the polygraph test, Mr. Speaker. And every policeman in a specialized unit is polygraphed. Special branch, SSU, drug squad, yep, and the intelligence, you have polygraph, Mr. Speaker. But you know, and I know, that there are reasons why civil servants cannot be polygraphed, cannot be compelled to be polygraphed. We know that. We know that, Mr. Speaker. But again, for cheap politics will appear as if the government is not doing anything. Not doing anything, Mr. Speaker. Not doing anything. Mr. Speaker, listen to, how can you tell me, how is it possible, Mr. Speaker, how is it possible for us to put a GPS on every sea vessel? How is that? How can any government be able to put a GPS on any sea vessel, on every sea vessel, Mr. Speaker? A GPS on everyone? How is it possible? What resources do you have to police the sea to find every vessel out there has a GPS? Fishermen, there are licensed fishermen in this country. There's legislation for licensed fishermen, and the process and the procedure for that is clearly defined, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we are trying our best, and I'm not going to talk about the resources that we've made available to the police. I'm going to say that tomorrow, because tomorrow we are providing the police with more resources. Tomorrow. There I'm going to outline what we've done, the resources we've been the police. So, Mr. Speaker, anybody believes that they can finger me directly and say I must take blame, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying, I'm blaming inefficiency. If there's inefficiency, yes, somebody must take blame. If there's corruption in the police force, somebody must take blame. If the policemen do not do their duty, somebody must take blame. If there's corruption, somebody must take blame, Mr. Speaker. If there's a lack of confidence by members of the force among themselves, somebody must take blame, Mr. Speaker. If in the police force there's unfairness, somebody must take blame. I agree. Don't tell me you blame everybody because a criminal, once a criminal is behaving out of what, Mr. Speaker, impacts. The leader of the opposition said this morning that impacts us, our being, our creation. I mean, where are you heading? Where are you heading? There was an unfortunate situation where evidence is missing, Mr. Speaker. You would swear that the opposition knew when the evidence disappeared. You would swear that they knew. Because that event happened in 2019. How do you know when the Commissioner of Police, to his credit, he came to the public and he said there was evidence disappeared. He was honest, he was transparent. He took responsibility. He didn't back down and blame everybody else. He took responsibility. He said that evidence disappeared and his investigations are continuing. He could have hidden it. He could have pushed back. He could have blamed anybody. He said that it's going to be an investigation. But you swear I'm the one who took the evidence. If you had the opposition, you believe that the Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, all for cheap political gain, because they believe that that's going to get them to the promised land, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we will continue. We will continue to do what we are doing to improve the crime situation, Mr. Speaker. We will continue with our crime intervention policies, Mr. Speaker. We will continue with them. We will continue with our crime intervention policies, Mr. Speaker. We will continue to work with the private organizations, the NGOs like RISE and Ubuntu. We'll continue to work with them. When we made a cash donation to Ubuntu to help in the crime prevention, we were criticized again by the opposition. And now, because there's been some success, they want to take credit, Mr. Speaker. Through the SSDF, there are a number of initiatives that's happening. Our Boys Matter. A number of initiatives in the prisons. When USAID stopped funding the prison intervention programs that the government was working with USAID, we took over the slack and we funded the private sector to deal with it, Mr. Speaker. That's what we are doing, because we are concerned, and we do not believe that we can win elections because we ride on the crime wagon. But they double speak all the time. Double speak. Accuse people all the time. The only time, Mr. Speaker, you can accuse somebody of being a criminal is when they are arrested. When somebody is arrested for being a criminal, you can accuse them of being a criminal, Mr. Speaker. But they accuse people all the time. Call people all sorts of names. Call people's children all sorts of names. People's spouses, all kinds of things. All kinds of innuendo. Many times, Mr. Speaker, that the leader of the opposition, he'll deny it, can go on public radio and say that the Labour Party people should be flogged, and to back it up, another of his members says that the Prime Minister should be flogged on Derek Walcott Square. Nothing from the opposition leader, nothing. That's not violence. Yeah, on radio, Mr. Speaker, that they should bust my head in New York. No condemnation. That's not crime. That's not crime. No condemnation. But you double speak. You double speak, Mr. Speaker. The Labour Party people should be flogged. And it's so good, another member repeats it. Mr. Speaker, these things, they are concerning, Mr. Speaker. Very concerning. When you had a double speaking. The double speaking, Mr. Speaker, no one ever says, the leader of the opposition never says, calling on me to do things. He never says to any of his members, recall what you said. But they follow him. So, wow, you must be vexed. You're not angry? When people are angry, what do they do? When you call for war, what do they do? No, never recall anything. When you call people to be flogged, the Prime Minister should be flogged. And to make sure people knew where he wanted the Prime Minister to be flogged, he said that they used to call Derek Walker Square Columbus Square. And now it's Derek Walker Square, to be sure that the adults understood where he was talking about. Not a word from the leader of the opposition. Not a word of condemnation, because they were following him. Because he said it first. He'll come and tell you that's not what he meant what he meant was they shouldn't be flogged, but they should be flogged. And what he meant was there was something wrong with the speaker. But you know, and if you say that, you're accused of all kind of things. Who flogged who, when, at what time in history? But if you say that, whoa, man, you break, according to people who can say, bois, la Sainte Vierge. They started, you know, they started. And when you respond, historically, what was flogged and associated with? But that's not crime. That's not crime. That's good behavior. That's my fault. Why? Why? You speaking about flogging people and you in public radio where everybody has you. Nobody stops you. Nobody stops you. We could not demonstrate. Every other day you want to have a demonstration outside. We don't say anything. We allow it. The kind of things that are said about the members of the government every Sunday on social media. The things that are said, Mr. Speaker, you're talking about a country where people are suppressed. The accusations, the innuendo, the misinformation, the calls for war. And once you respond, something is wrong with you. Don't go into the past. Don't say that. Don't do it, Mr. Speaker. I have never called for anybody to be flogged. Never. In my entire political life, I've never called for anybody to be flogged. Never. That's not what I'm about. Never called for it. So when you're trying to quote me and play I double speak, when I say a simple thing like I never tell journalists mind your business, big thing. That's an offense. He's double speaking. He said mind your business. But Mr. Speaker, the government will continue. And that is why we are putting this piece of legislation together, Mr. Speaker. This is why. This is why we are doing it. Because we know that we will prevail. Because our intentions, or my intentions, are honorable. We will prevail, Mr. Speaker. We will prevail. History has shown that truth always prevails, Mr. Speaker. That's what history shows, Mr. Speaker. So we not believe that by double speaking and playing on one hand, you saying something, whereas on the other hand, you sit down and you hear people say it. You said nothing about it. In fact, they repeat it. They follow you. They follow you, Mr. Speaker. I make no bones about it, Mr. Speaker. I am ready to discuss if anybody see a solution to the crime situation in St. Lucia. I'm ready. We went to all the crime as a public health issue, all the meetings we went to. And look, we're passing the enabling legislation. The government is doing whatever, we're increasing resources to the police force. But if I say I am not involved in police operational matters, where is the offense in that? Where is the offense in that? So if the Minister of Health says he's not a doctor, he commits an offense? Policing and crime prevention is a specialist situation. It's for specialists, not for laymen. Laymen have ideas. But policing is for specialists, Mr. Speaker. And regardless of what you all say, I will continue to say the operational matters are in the hands of the police force, and I have confidence that the police force will take up the mantle and do what they have to do, Mr. Speaker. I will continue to say it, and I will never criticize the Commissioner of Police in public. I'll call him and have a discussion. What message do you send when you call the Commissioner of Police? And the leader of the division said nothing. Nothing. When you call the Commissioner in open and disrespect him. When you disrespect the office of the Prime Minister, you don't disrespect me, you know. I have said over and over again, the job of Prime Minister is a temporary job. I've said so over and over again. I'm here because the people of Castle East voted for me and my colleagues here selected me. It's a temporary job. Nobody died and left it for me. What my father died and left for me was manners and respect. Nobody died and left anything for me. I don't believe I have any God-given right to be prime minister. I was in politics for several years before I became prime minister. I waited my turn. So if I have become prime minister today, it's after long and hard struggle and the confidence of the people of Labour, Mr. Speaker. That's why I'm prime minister. And it doesn't belong to me. This job does not belong to me. I have it temporarily. So all those who believe that the prime ministership is theirs and they must have it, they do whatever they want to have, Mr. Speaker. Not me. Not me. You will never get me to go where you all go to become prime minister. Never. You will never invoke him, Mr. Speaker. Invoking. You think, Bolom. Laja bless. Mr. Speaker, do you know that witchcraft is still an offense? In St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, going for all kinds, the lowest limits, Mr. Speaker. The court has a judgment, you blame the government. I mean, Mr. Speaker, where are we getting, Mr. Speaker? Where are we? Where are we in this country? Why must the opposition drag this country where they want because they believe they can win elections by doing that? What has the government to do with the judgments of the court? Caribbean Court of Justice outside there, no CCJ, no CCJ, demonstrating, trying to make justice more reachable to the public of St. Lucia. Out there, demonstration. Then the first people who run to the CCJ are the opposition. The same people out there. And then he'll have an excuse. The excuse is we ask for consultation. That's the excuse. But we asked you for consultation. When the first law came, there is a 90-day period where the opposition could make their claims. 90 days. They didn't do it. Excuse, Mr. Speaker. CCJ, again, helping the process. The same people who are speaking about the backlog of cases want to slow down the system when it seeks to get these cases resolved earlier, Mr. Speaker. The same people go to the Privy Council. Yes, ages to the Privy Council. Can't afford. How can you get justice when you can't afford it? The CCJ, instead of you support it, you attack it. You attack it. And now, the first people to go there are the opposition, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, in this crime situation, the situation which I don't like, I don't approve, I'm concerned. I'm sure the leader of the opposition is concerned also. But no. But for politics, cheap politics, Mr. Speaker. Cheap politics, Mr. Speaker. Cheap politics, Mr. Speaker. Making a big story, Mr. Speaker, separating law enforcement from revenue. The leader of the opposition knows very well what happened there. He knows, because he tried. He knows. But no. Cameras. You mean to tell me I will go in public and tell criminals where every camera is? You think the police will go and say, criminal, they have a camera there, they have a camera here. They have 2,000 cameras. They have one everywhere. Go and tell everybody. Go and tell everybody for politics. CCTV cameras. So the government must say where the cameras are. Make sense? According to the member for Viva South, make that make sense. Tell people where cameras are. Tell them. Tell all the criminals what's your strategy. Tell them your policies. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them how much money you have out for reward. Tell everybody. These are the solutions for crime. These are the solutions. Mr. Speaker, I once more call on members to support this bill, Mr. Speaker, and support all the measures that the government is trying, Mr. Speaker, to see if we can combat the crime issue. But it's a deeply rooted problem that we have in this region. And that's why the CARICOM arrest warrant is a very important bill, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, I urge members to support it. I thank you.